In a humble village nestled beside a vast, dark forest lived a peasant whose life was bound to the soil and the strength of his animals. His most cherished possession had once been his horse, a powerful, iron-gray stallion named Silvermane. Silvermane had faithfully worked the fields for over a decade, pulling the heavy plow through countless seasons. But time, the unsparing master, had finally caught up. Silvermane's coat was now dull, his once vibrant eyes were clouded, and the powerful muscles in his legs trembled slightly after a short walk. "Certainly, I can't use more of you," the peasant sighed one morning, looking at the old horse with a mixture of regret and cold practicality. He no longer gave Silvermane anything to eat beyond the meager dry hay. "But I still mean good in you, old friend." The peasant paused, stroking the horse's coarse mane with a hand that had grown rough from toil. A flicker of a cruel joke, or perhaps a test of absolute devotion, crossed his mind. "If you proved yourself still strong enough to bring me a lion here," the peasant declared, his voice louder than necessary, "I would maintain you, and you could live out your days in comfort. But now, take yourself away out of my stable." He threw open the heavy wooden door and, with a dismissive wave of his hand, chased the loyal animal into the open country. The horse, Silvermane, felt the weight of his master's betrayal settle in his bones. He was sad, and his belly was empty. He walked slowly, his head bowed low, toward the dark embrace of the forest's edge, hoping to find a small, sheltered spot to seek protection from the biting morning wind. It was there, among the rustling brown leaves of autumn, that the fox, a creature known throughout the woods for his quick wit and cunning, crossed his path. The fox, whose name was Reynard, stopped and cocked his head. "Why hang your head like this, great horse, and go alone?" Reynard asked, his voice smooth and inquiring. The spirit of the field should not look so defeated. The horse replied with a heavy sigh that whistled through his nostrils. "Unfortunately, greed and sincerity do not dwell together in one house, Reynard. My master has forgotten what endless services I have performed for him for so many long years." "Without giving you even a single, final chance to prove your worth?" asked the fox, his sharp eyes gleaming with sudden interest. "The chance was a bad one, Reynard," Silvermane admitted, shaking his head. "A truly terrible one. He said, if I were still strong enough to bring him a lion, he would keep me and feed me. But he knows well enough that I am too weak and old to face a beast of such terrible strength." Reynard the fox sat back on his haunches and smiled, a truly unsettling expression. "Fear not, Silvermane," he said, tapping a clawed foot on the damp earth. "I am known for turning bad chances into good fortune. I will help you. Now listen closely and do exactly as I say. Just lie down here in this clearing, stretch yourself out, and stay perfectly still, as if you were dead. Do not move a muscle, no matter what happens." The horse, desperate and trusting, did as the fox desired. He collapsed onto the soft, mossy ground, closed his eyes, and held his breath, looking exactly like a magnificent but deceased warhorse. The fox then trotted away, his tail waving excitedly, toward the deep heart of the woods. The den of the great king lion was not far, carved into the base of an old, gnarled oak tree. Reynard approached the entrance with great humility and a slightly breathless expression. "My lord lion," Reynard whispered in an urgent tone, "I have just stumbled upon a gift worthy of a king. There is a dead horse lying outside, a massive specimen, truly a rich and abundant meal. Just come with me now, and you can feast without a single struggle." The lion, who had been lazily licking his paw, perked up. A whole horse was a feast indeed. He went with the fox, his great padded paws making hardly a sound. When they were both standing by the immense, still body of Silvermane, the lion sniffed cautiously. A fine meal, indeed, the lion rumbled, already anticipating the feast. After all, the fox said, stepping closer with a look of helpful concern, it is not comfortable for you here in the open, and you would have to tear it apart in the dust. I have a better idea. I will tie it securely for you by the tail, and then you can drag this massive prize into your own cool, dark cave and devour it peacefully at your leisure. This clever, logistical advice greatly pleased the proud lion. He lay down on the ground, and in order that the fox might tie the horse fast and easily to him, the great beast kept perfectly quiet and still. The forest clearing is empty, with only the sound of rustling leaves and distant bird calls filling the air. The old, gnarled oak tree stands tall, its roots twisting into the earth, marking the entrance to King Lion's den. Reynard went to work. He took a long, thick rope of finely twisted forest vines he had quickly gathered, and with swift, strong movements, he tied the lion's massive legs together with the horse's tail. He twisted and fastened all the knots so well and so strongly, wrapping the ropes several times and securing them with the lion's own weight, that no strength on earth could break the bindings once the lion tried to move. When he had finished his intricate, life-saving work, Reynard tapped the horse firmly on the shoulder and cried out, his voice sharp with command, "Pull, white horse, pull for your life and your freedom." Then up sprang Silvermane at once. The sudden, surprising motion and the feeling of life rushing back into his old limbs gave him a desperate, furious strength he hadn't known he possessed. He drew the lion away with him, as if the great king were merely a heavy sack of feed. The lion, enraged and humiliated, began to roar a sound so terrifying and loud that all the birds in the forest flew out in a chaotic, black cloud of terror. But Silvermane let him roar, fixing his sight only on the distant stable. He drew the lion, dragging him, bumping him, and pulling him over the country, down the dusty paths and across the hard earth, until he finally reached his master's door. The peasant was sitting outside, whittling a stick, when the sight of his old, rejected horse, now pulling the king of the beasts behind him like a child's toy, nearly made him fall from his stool. When the master saw the terror and the astonishing power of the captive lion, he was immediately of a much better mind. He rushed out, freed the lion, who instantly bounded away, never to forget the shame, and embraced his horse. "Thou shalt stay with me, Silvermane, and fare exceeding well for the rest of your days," he cried, tears welling in his eyes. He led the horse back into the stable, laid down fresh, thick straw, and kept his word. He gave Silvermane the sweetest oats and plenty of fresh, clear water every day, and never asked the old horse to do another day's work, providing for him faithfully until Silvermane died peacefully many years later.